Hello, my name is Henry Emphrey, and this is an AppGameKit game development tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to teach how to upload a background into AppGameKit. Now, as you can see, I have already created my background in a program called Paint.net. And my background size is 2000 by 800. I make my background that big because eventually I might want a scrolling background. And as for the 800, I always make my taller than the game screen size, which we'll get to in a second. And the background can be anything you drew, or it could be an image, a photograph, or an image off of Google or somewhere. It can be anything. Okay, so now that I'm finished with my background, I'm going to save this to my folder. Now this is a folder that's on my desktop. As you can see, we have a code file, and then we have this media folder in which all our assets are going to be in. So inside this media folder, that's where we're going to put our assets. So I go to File, Save As, I go to Desktop, and then I click on my AppGameKit folder, and then click on the media folder, and I'm just going to call this background. It's going to be background.png. So, okay. And now that my background is saved as background.png, now we're going to go into AppGameKit. Okay, so now we're in AppGameKit. And the first thing that I did was I gave my game a title, and then I set the screen size. So my screen is going to be 800 pixels wide and 600 pixels tall. So that's my window size, and I made sure that the window size and the virtual resolution matches. And then I set error mode of 2. Error mode report whether you have an error in your game or not. 2, it would terminate in the game if there are errors in the game. This is just the usual stuff. Whenever you're making a game in AppGameKit, you gotta put some of this stuff right here. And as for my background, I had to create an ID for it, so I gave my background an ID of 1, and then I used that same ID to load my background onto. So my background is loaded onto this 1 right here. Background X and background Y, that has to do with where my background is going to start at once we launch our game. X has to do with going from right to left, and Y has to do with going up and down. So my background is going to start on the 0 coordinate on the horizontal front, and my background is going to start minus 200 on the vertical front. Minus in computer programming means up. So my background is actually going to start minus 200 pixels up. I did that so that once we launch our game, we'll be able to see the game's floor. And you'll see what I mean once we launch our game. Okay, so this part has to do with our coordinates, where our background is going to start once we launch our game. Okay, so then down here, I finalize where my background is going to start on screen. So once again, 1 has to do with my background's ID in the PNG file that we made in Paint.net. This one, the thing that we gave a name of background.png, and I put my coordinates right here into this function here. Okay, so that's basically all we got to do. So let's launch our game and see what happens. Okay, so there's our background. As you can see, our background fills up the window. And that's why I like to make my background a lot bigger than the window size. See, do you remember down here I gave my background a height size of 800, yet my window size is 600. And once again, that's just to ensure that my background fills up the window size. And another thing is, what we're looking at is just a fraction of the background, and it goes on down to 200 pixels wide. See, remember? See, we're not seeing the rest of that stuff down here. Not this black hill and these 2 clouds down here. We're only seeing this part. And that's in case I want to make a scrolling background. And when I'm making games, that's the way I create my backgrounds. In regards to the vertical direction, we made this minus 200. Let me show you what happens if I didn't make this minus 200. Let me show you what happens if this is just 200, not minus 200. Now let's launch our game. See, our background is not starting in the correct spot, and it looks kind of weird. So that's why we put the minus 200 there. Okay, so that's how you upload a background into AppGameKit. Feel free to take what you learned in this tutorial, play with these numbers a little bit and expand on what we talked about. Till next time. Thanks. Bye.